Heather? I didn't think so. I mean, those other...
Stephen Miles. Stephen Miles Design, SMD.
Tell me a little bit about your business. What do you do?
We do what I would consider a hobby. We design and custom paint some of the most elite go-fast boats in the world.
You grew up in West Virginia. Bring me up to the point where you, growing up in West Virginia, to the point where you graduated high school and went to the Navy.
I graduated a little bit ahead of my class. Day I turned 18, I went to the Navy. I'd already signed up and enlisted for the US Navy, and left the day I turned 18 for boot camp.
What made you decide to go into the military?
Well, what made anybody want to go into the Navy? Top Gun came out at that time, man. Everybody wanted to go in the Navy.
Did Top Gun inspire you to go into the Navy?
Fuck no.
What happened after you got out of the service?
I was going to go to college, and a buddy of mine was all about. He worked down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He worked in like a beachwear store, and he was like, "Hey, come down. You'll make $100 a day," which was a lot of money to me at the time, and just enjoy a summer. See what happens. There was this guy, this little dude from Thailand that had a little corner, like rented out of this beachwear store, and he airbrushed T-shirts. First opportunity I got, things slowed down for him a little bit, and I finally asked him. I was like, man, I gotta ask you. You shouldn't ask anybody this, but I'm like, what are you making doing this? He's like, $300, $400, $500 a day. Give me that damn thing. And that airbrush felt like a piece of my hand that had been missing, my entire life. It made sense. It worked. I had a little side gig where we would paint Harley Davidsons and race cars, helmets, anything we get our hands on that would sit still long enough to paint it, we would paint it. Probably painted, I would say, over 200-300 sets of Harley tents, over the years. So did a lot of that stuff. The biker build-off shows were popular at the time there in the late 90s. And so we did a whole lot of that, got really good at that. Realizing other avenues besides just, working for somebody, got on a couple of RC boating forums, and overnight between that and Facebook, starting to be a big thing, and all of that it was just an easy marketing tool. Friends multiplied. Every artist is influenced by something. I kind of searched outside of the powerboat industry. And I knew from day one, like, I'm gonna take these little boats and I'm gonna present them in a way to the right people, and we're going to make this work.
Outer Limits has been propelled into the record books by its founder, Michael Fiore, behind the wheel of the record-breaking Triple X.
At Outer Limits Powerboats, we manufacture extreme high-performance and pleasure V-bottoms and catamarans. Our specialty is, custom handcrafted boats.
You had just started painting. It was 2014 with Mike for Outer Limits. And he would die 3 days after that accident. How did that affect you?
By this time, Mike had already introduced me. Mike immediately, 10 hours after I met the guy, I ran into him down in Key West, and he grabs me and he spins me around. He's like, hey, talk to this guy. You're gonna paint his boat next. I had only spent like 7 minutes talking to this guy at that time. So by the time that accident happened, he had already introduced me to Bert and Kirsten, who I'd already had some amazing conversations with, who just connected with, and he had introduced me to a few other clients, so it was like I was already on my way. It's like the guy he set me here, thanks to Joel, but he set me here, and it was just like poof, and then he was gone.
painted a lot of boats. He painted a lot of Outer Limits. A lot of them. You have any favorites?
Oh boy.
Glad you made it.
I got the boat.
Actually, I got to know Steven through Outer Limits.
He can just create anything. He's awesome. And if you don't like it, something on that, he'll just tweak it and make it just perfect.
I think my first boat that I had him paint, I bet you him and I did 40 renderings, and he never batted an eye about it.
He's definitely a true artist. Because he's just such a visionary and dreams so big that I think he sees art first and business second. And it's an interesting water to kind of try to tread to get us where we need to go. As corny and cliche as it sounds, I mean, we really are a family there, and it's not a huge operation, but I feel like we do some pretty huge things as far as the scale of what we get to do.
Since they locked me away, it's been 3 doctors.
Well, I tell him he's my rock star friend, you know, because every time we go out, everybody's, you know, hey, Steve, and, you know, he's all, here, come meet this guy, and, you know, Steve brings the fun to the dock.
In my lonely cell, it's cold as hell.
We wanted to offer something that wasn't production. I've always wanted to offer something that was special, and I've always wanted to see to it that with any client, it wasn't just a paint job. It needs to be an experience. It needs to be something that that there's memories of the creation of it. There's not just the finished product. In the lead, I mean, really, I'm gonna pinch myself again because I don't even deserve to be here. I really don't. I see it that way, but man, what an opportunity I've been given, and what a talent God has blessed me with. Man, these clients of mine, like, thank you for my life. Thank you.
Change my ways, change my ways. They told me I could leave soon if I change my ways. It's been 3 doctors.